We are live. Hello. Oh, the immediate bits from our host going into the bit bucket.
I had
Hi.
it queued up and ready to
You sure did.
go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Gossip Hour. This week we're talking about Grailz. Our one host, Aramis, is fishing this week, so we are missing them. And we are playing Guilty Gear Strive with a couple of the members of the Discord. So that's what you're going to be seeing on the screen tonight.
Wish them all the luck with that fishing excursion.
Exactly. So,
Before we get started, I guess since we did a big Splatoon episode last week, do you want to? Where's everyone at with Splatoon? Because I am excited. I just made it to A rank in.
I don't think I've played it since.
Really?
Yeah.
You've just been busy?
Splatoon?
I've been busy, yeah.
I literally haven't put it down.
Yeah, I saw you're A+, right?
My whole life is suffering from playing Splatoon
Too
so
much
much.
Splatoon. Yeah. Yeah, I have not played it since, and I've been wanting to get to it, and then I'm just thinking I'm getting behind everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't powered off, and they haven't added any of the competitive weapons. They haven't added the competitive subs and specials main power up to strengthen your gun. So I think right now the meta is just kind of playing the game.
All right, I'll get there. Yeah, can we get some bits in the chat? Oh, specifically for Ernie. So, oh, thank you for the bits. Smile buddies.
I think even if you don't play the optimized game of Splatoon, you still have a good chance and still have a lot of fun with it though. So I don't think you have to feel too far behind or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think I necessarily do, but something about the game just always makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Well, you're not spending as much time
right
on it as other people, so that's your something wrong is giving yourself more free time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
you're playing it, but I'm still bad at it.
Mm-hmm. So which one are you in this little dollhouse?
I'm the one with the purple hair.
Okay, the ponytail. And then we got cat ears, and then was that a zombie mask?
Something
and
like
a heart
that.
shirt.
I'm not sure who's who there. To be honest.
But one is Relmagus and one is Fish Helmet Copy.
Correct.
Right? Okay. That's cool.
But I saw someone say, I hope before the show started, would love to hear something about Wind Waker. How about Wind Waker?
How about it?
What do you think that goop is in there?
I gotta imagine.
Thank you for the Spicky Doo.
You think it's just colored oil or colored water?
Gatorade.
I would love to be it for Gatorade, and somehow I'm just dying of thirst with 0 electrolytes, and I'm literally just gonna shrivel up and become a desiccated loop, and somehow Wind Waker crack that shit open and boom, saves my life.
The apocalypse is happening.
It's hard to tell because is it viscous or is it just very tightly sealed in there? Because it moves so slowly.
We lost our room. That's a good question. But I'd like to hear everyone's speculation on what the goop inside Wind Waker is.
Someone said it's gamer girl pee, Yeah, I don't know how much blue jello they'd have to eat for their pee to turn blue, though.
Jim Bob, the fuck.
It reminds me of window cleaner, is what I've said.
Like Windex?
Yeah, just like the bottle of blue window spray you get from Kroger or wherever. Keeps the streaks off your windows. Nice shade of light blue. That's kind of what the water looks like in Wind Waker. You're being told you have a new code.
I am seeing that.
There's
It's
a lot of cool parts about it. I really like
Mhm.
what they added on the spine. I thought that was super fucking
Mhm.
cool.
Oh yeah. Like the Wind Waker notes.
And the jackets are, I think they keep it simple in a nice way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice cut. The color turned out like
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. Is Frank
Jim Bob, is
muted?
that I guess we don't know that just yet.
We may never know. There you are. Thank you for this the Prime sub and your bimsness. It means a lot to us and keeps us going on our podcast.
What about that sticker that came with it of our
boy
host,
Joey? Thank you for the bit. That was such a good thing, like, and surprised to see.
That is really, is that among the first of the like the video game vinyl collectors like memeing coming to life in a release, or have there been things before that?
I feel like there's gotta
There's
be
like the
something, but...
throw it in the garbage,
Mhm.
the feet memes, the bacon
yeah,
memes.
but this is actually
like
on
included, yeah,
accompanying a physical release.
Oh, of like making a sticker. I think it's so.
Jim Bob saying Kirby's Superstar back cover. What about it?
What's on the back cover?
Pokes fun at other stuff. Among Us, yeah. I'm getting destroyed in this.
I'll have to take a look at what the Kirby Superstar back cover is, because I'm... Oh, fussy quality. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely a dig. Yeah. Well, it's still among the first. And it must have been just so ridiculous to find out that you're going to become a sticker.
Yeah, if only he was around and he did not die to mold poisoning. I miss him every day.
Well, what's this fucking episode about?
Grailz.
What is your guys' definition of a grail, though?
And that's the question. It's like that's got to be different for everyone, because we see the term grail so much.
Yeah, because
I'll try turning the audio up, but it looks like it's pretty okay. Let me know if that's any better.
Because we had a little bit of a pre-discussion in before the show about it, and I think we were all coming to like different conclusions. Because, yeah, I don't necessarily think that money is attached to what a grail is, or like even accessibility. I think if some...
My grails are like soundtracks I love that don't have vinyl yet. That's like my definition of a grail.
But it's like I think that before Fangamer came out with like the Banjo-Kazooie box set, like I think people were like salivating over the idea of a more complete Banjo-Kazooie, and so I think when that came out, that could easily be considered a grail to some.
Yeah.
But then, like, after you have it, is it still a grail?
If you cherish it as much, I think. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of grails lose the status once you've had it for too long. Or you like, the hunt is gone, so it's just like, doesn't mean as much.
I think so, but
Yeah, I don't. I have a completely different definition, I guess. Like my definition of a grail is I feel it's something that has to exist. So I think that's the biggest difference. Like right off the bat, I feel like if it's something that's non-existent, the term doesn't make sense to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But also like, yeah, I feel like once you have it in your collection, it's still a grail. It's like these are the grails of my collection. And white whale, I guess the two terms are interchangeable, like grail and white whale. I mean, I kind of think of those as the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, it's just a grail is something that exists that I'm having a hard time finding and would really love to own. And you typically, like, it's a soundtrack that has a lot of meaning to me, and not just something I want for bragging rights or just to have it or whatever, just for collectability's sake. Like, it's something I actually want to own because it's from something I love, but I'm having a lot of trouble getting it, so it's like a hunt for it.
You mentioned one before. What was the one you mentioned like a couple hours ago, Frank?
Oh, so for years, I would say at least a few years, and it's funny because after I finally found a copy, a bunch of them started showing, not a bunch of them, but I think other people in the community started finding copies of their own. But for years, I was looking for a record called The Bressingham Voigt, which is the record that they sampled, I guess not sampled, but completely used in its entirety in the game Roller Coaster Tycoon for the music of the merry-go-round. So all of the merry-go-round music you hear in the game is pulled straight, literally from that vinyl record, because the creator, I believe he said his father had that record in his collection, and so he inserted all of that music into the game, I assume with permission, or I don't know if it's...
There was no rules back then.
May not have had proper copywriting or something like that even.
Either way, like, whatever. I grew up with that game. I played it a lot. And when I found out, like, I mean, I think when I first got into the scene, I was like, man, I wish Roller Coaster Tycoon, like, someone would press that. And then, like, one day I discovered, like, oh, wow, like, the majority of that game's music is on vinyl already and existed way before the game existed. But I was searching for that for years, and it's not an expensive record at all. Like, I don't think it's ever sold for that much. It's just, I just couldn't find it. Like, I couldn't find it anywhere. I was searching all over, like, eBay in Europe and, like, whatever. And then finally one day it popped up. I think maybe it popped up on Discogs. I can't remember if I got on Discogs or eBay. But I think it was like $30 or something. It wasn't expensive.
I do like the idea of grills do not have to be expensive.
Definitely not. But for me, it's like, I guess my personal definition, it is something that's like the accessibility isn't high. Like I have, like I'm searching. It's something I'm searching for actively. Like, because if it's not expensive and it's not hard to find, then what's my excuse? Like, then I could just get it. So I guess it's got to apply to it. It's got to check off at least some of those things.
So it can't just be something that you have been wanting on vinyl for years and someone finally brings it to fruition. Like
No,
for me, that would be like Super Mario RPG. It got brought to fruition. It was something I've been dreaming about for years, and so like even though that's not something I was searching for because there was nothing to search for, it still like has that high echelon of quality and meaning to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's like there's obviously plenty of things for me that fit that definition. I just wouldn't use the term Grail to describe that. But I don't know. That's just me. I think like in the video game collecting community, which I was never that big a part of, but I'm pretty sure like most people in that community use the term in a similar way, where it's just like, you know, a game that exists, but they're having a hard time finding it or getting it, or they just can't get it because it's so rare. They can't get it because it's so expensive.
Yeah. So I guess like one that I was searching for a while that's kind of, I guess, non-traditional in the sense that the Bressingham Voigt was I mean not like a 1970s record, but something that no one seems to really search for that I was really happy to have found last year was Super Motherload. And that was just one that it was in the early days of video game vinyl that and it was one that I would see on Bandcamp all the time and be like, I'll get it later, and then it was gone, and I couldn't find anything about it. Couldn't like didn't even see people post on Facebook about owning that record or anything like that. And then someone on the Discord pointed out that there was a person on like Reddit/vinyl collectors that was just selling a bunch of video game vinyl from their collection, and that one was up there. And it's one that I really hadn't thought about in a long time, just because I didn't think it was possible to get. And then yeah, it's a great game and a great soundtrack, and like a soundtrack that I used to play. I used to play the original Motherload and Super Motherload with like this group of 3 friends and myself, and yeah, it brings back a lot of really nice memories, and yeah, I'm very happy to have that record.
I feel like everyone has a release or two like that where they just, it comes out, but you just pass on it and you kind of forget about it for a while, and then you like think back and you're like, why didn't I buy that? And now you can't find it, and no one's selling it. Yeah, I feel like that definitely happens to everyone with something.
And those become kind of weird grails because it wasn't hard to find, and it was so readily available.
Yeah.
I constantly think people do that with Yeti releases. That's why I like push the Yetis so hard, is just because like I think they do well, and I think they're like they only have sales when things are in hand most of the time. But it's like when they're out, it seems like everyone wants it now.
Like Hat in Time was one. Hat
in Time, the Disaster Piece concept album, Rise of the Obsidian Interstellar, like everyone was wanting that. It's like some of these like compilation albums that go out of print that Yeti does. Like I don't see how some of that stuff like is on people's like high tier wish lists, because like it was so accessible until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like then they get kind of forgotten about.
Trying to think what any of my Grailz were. Like Super Metroid was mine for a while, and I was making a bunch of those memes and eventually recreated the opening of the game.
Yeah.
And that was just a fun hunt. And then there was like Adventure Time, which isn't it's not video games, but that was just like patience, and then having to realize how much are you willing to go for this, and like you kind of you have to ask yourself the real questions as far as how bad do you want it, and are you willing to wait longer, or is that one little shot good enough when the opportunity arises?
Is Adventure Time one that was like someone was always selling it, but it was just really expensive, or was just like
I don't
no one was ever
know.
selling it?
Since I got into it, I think a while after the release went up, and even then I think it was still selling for pretty high on the aftermarket, but I wouldn't doubt that it was up for a while, because I have the email from Mondo being like, oh, we're gonna have these. And I'm like, man, why didn't I just know about that?
Caleb says that Frankie recently got a CD Grail. Yeah, I guess he's asking if you could talk about that.
Yeah, I recently bought F-Zero X Guitar Range album. It's just a super expensive CD that I've wanted for a while, and I finally bit the bullet and got it. I don't know if there's too much interesting to say about that. There's
Right.
not really a story, but it's just one of those that's probably one of the best arrangement albums there is in video game
It is
soundtrack.
F-Zero, so
it just goes so hard. But it just was always very, very, very expensive. That's about it. It's a great album.
I'm looking at the art right now. Like, everything is so maximalist on the CD. Like, there's just so much to look at everywhere.
It hits you like a ton of bricks when you listen to it, and it's so short too. I think it's like under 40 minutes. It's just an adrenaline rush, really.
the perfect
Maybe
way F-Zero
someday
should
someone
be.
will press it.
So if any booters are listening, that's gonna be a lot of people's grails.
Someone did make a very cool lathe of it, which I was fortunate enough to get a copy of. But I don't know how many exist.
The skull cover.
Yeah, which is a
Yeah.
parody of something, and I unfortunately can't remember what it is, but I have it on that list I made on Facebook.
That's so cool.
We want to bring someone in to talk
Yes.
about.
Let's hear someone.
Have we had Dan in here before? I forget.
If not, it's been a while, so let's bring Dan
It's
in.
been a while. I'm gonna bring Dan in. All right. Hello, Dan. You are on the air.
Hi.
Hi. We are talking about Grailz tonight. If you've been listening in, do you have any remarks about that, or do you have any personal Grailz you'd like to share?
What counts
with
as a
us?
grail to you?
Yeah.
Before we hear your grails, TM.
Honestly, I don't really think there's like a clear definition in my head yet. 'Cause I don't think I've experienced it at that point. I mean, I guess the closest thing right now would be something that hasn't been pressed yet. Because I feel like when it does, that's just the game in my head that means the most to me.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been, or there hasn't been one since that has taken a bigger place in my life. So that would if that ever gets pressed, I think I would hold that as my grail, whether I had it or didn't, and even afterward, I'd still probably put it on a pedestal here.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention what it was.
You did not. I was just like, well, whatever this mystical grail is, it's
one day soon.
soon.
Yeah. No, it would be Superstar Saga.
Oh yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
Would you want it to be the Game Boy Advance or the 3DS?
No, I definitely want the Game Boy Advance. I hear those tracks in my head, in my dreams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, while I'm cooking, while I'm showering, while I'm working.
I
Battle
feel like
music
the
is
3DS
so good.
version lost a lot of its personality on the music. Like
I remember-
the sound font is very distinct on the original version.
Yeah, I mean, especially like the opening track, like in the title screen, like hearing that specifically running into after you hear the little ding from the Game Boy. That's just like a sound that I always have. Like I remember it distinctively playing it back in the day. So I think I would definitely prefer the Game Boy version.
But are there any existing releases out there that is something that you either acquired or are still looking for that you consider a Grail?
I don't think I'm necessarily like looking for anything to that point. I mean, I guess RPG maybe.
Yeah.
It's not one that I remember playing. I didn't play it until like 2018, I think. But I thoroughly enjoyed the soundtrack, so I mean it's something I would want badly.
I mean, it's the same company, the same composer who did Superstar Saga. So
yeah, that might be a reason why. I guess maybe like inertly, I'm thinking that I want things from them. Besides that, I think the only other release that like has been from a game that I played a shit ton of was Melee. And I thankfully have Melee, so I can I don't have to stress over that one. But Melee is always up there for me. So it's not I don't think it ever has to be something that's like extremely I guess in terms of packaging, I don't need something that's deluxe or anything like that. Melee was just an all around sweet release, and I think it really respected the game for what it is.
I mean, that die cut was just so neat to see.
And the memes. Oh, the memes.
Yeah, put any insert in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just like any sort of treasured, like anything you treasure enough could be considered a Grail. So
yeah, I think that's what I put it at. I think if I like the game enough, or I just enjoy the music enough, they could press it on, I don't know, 180 poop color, and I'd still love it.
I do think, yeah, to Frank's point, I think like the act of searching for something, it does endear a release to you even more so. And so,
well, I was actually going to bring up another example that completely goes against me saying that.
Oh yeah.
That I thought of before the show started. So I have something in my collection that I consider a personal Grail, but it's not something I searched for at all. It's something that just kind of fell into my lap. Because Parappa the Rapper is one of my favorite game series, and I was always looking for the soundtrack releases for it, and there's a 7-inch vinyl for the De La Soul track that they made for Parappa 2 called Say I Gotta Believe, and like a lot of people have the picture disc version of that, but there's also a promotional version that's on just pressed on black. It's just a black 7-inch, and I was never too interested in it because it doesn't really have any interesting packaging. But it is hand numbered, and there was one day I was on Discogs and I had it in my want list, and there was just an alert that somebody was selling a hand numbered copy of that, and it was literally number 1, like 1 out of 200. So I grabbed it for I think they were only selling it for like $10 or something.
Oh my god, what?
But I have a Parappa record that's like numbered 1, and like it just so I it's something I didn't even know I really wanted, but I have it now, and like I cherish that so much because I think it's just such a neat thing to have.
Here's a question. Can a lathe be a grail if there can be infinitely made?
I was thinking about that actually right before this started.
Yes, I'd say easily
I say hell no.
readily available things can be Grailz.
That's Smashbox set.
I'm gonna grail you in about 5 seconds.
That Smashbox set, yeah, like that went. That had a lot of love put into it. Like I saw that they posted like
That
a
is very
wooden box
cool.
of it,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they cherish it. Like that is.
I've never seen a lathe with those kind of colors either.
Mm-hmm.
That guy must have put a lot of thought and time, money, everything into that. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
I can only imagine how much that costs.
Yeah, I mean, if you made that for yourself, I'm sure you would consider it a grail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah,
You
could
can just manufacture grails. Might as well just take it to the fucking grail factory.
Isn't that kind of what we're seeing? More and
It's
more
on
with
this
some
call.
stuff.
I'm just gonna have the Lathe chat channel renamed into the Grail Factory
The,
now.
the Grail Center.
I did not buy the Limitil Parappa.
See, Zach, you are not banned.
Do
But
you
yeah.
all have different ways of displaying your grails, or is it just in your collection? So like when you said that 1 out of 200 Parappa vinyl, is like, do you have that displayed in any sort of special way, or is it?
It's just with everything else. I
Yeah.
don't have anything on display.
I always like
Yeah,
the thought,
you would
but
be
I don't
displaying
like
it
the
to
process.
yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
how often do you have people like in your game room to like look at the?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty
So-
much the reason, yeah.
Well,
Some
one day you
people
can
have
open
those
the door.
like glass display cases and stuff like that, even though like it just feels good to them. But no, I don't display my stuff like that either.
I think maybe one day I'll consider maybe buying frames for things I have doubles of that I like think the cover looks really cool for and just hang it up. Like maybe one of the Esper waves I'll hang up. I don't know.
Mhm.
Those are cool looking.
Esper Wave's just pretty solid across the board.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Like, I don't have too many doubles of anything right now, but I do have. I do think like the doubles I do have are ones that I am like keeping around, and like I guess in a sense that means I revere them higher. Like I don't want, like I don't like the thought of being without a Super Mario 3 or like a Kirby Superstar. So I definitely I have backups of those. I guess that's what you call them. But
Sometimes it's good to buy those just in case one doesn't sound great too.
uh-huh.
You know, if you buy like a splatter and they have the black available
Uh-huh.
and the splatter doesn't sound so great, you're like, well, a good thing I got black too.
Uh-huh.
You never know. Catastrophic accident could happen. You know, you drop it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I don't want to do that with all the records because I don't want to like double my collection overnight.
That's what I
if that
think
was-
with
I don't-
that stuff. It's just like, yes,
it's-
in theory.
So it's the most meaningful of the meaningful of records for me that like I would only have 2 of. And I think that probably makes like a mental top 10, even though like I don't have the ability or the finances to get a second Super Mario RPG or anything like that. So
What about just framing like extra jackets?
mhm.
Yeah,
I've done that.
I have a lot of extra jackets that just aren't doing anything. People threw them in as packing material.
Mhm.
Those are the
Then-
best kind of.
And I'm like, what do I
extra
do with
jackets.
this?
Sometimes
I-
people flip those.
I know.
That is
Yeah.
wild. Who was selling covers the other day?
Was it the other day? I don't know. I must have missed it then.
Could have swore someone was selling covers the other day in Maine.
It was like for $5. But I think that was just the shipping. So
I remember Super Mario Kart was the first one I saw on eBay.
Oh,
A bunch
yeah.
of like, empty jackets.
Mhm.
It's like when those got shipped, they got shipped with a lot of extra ones. People were
Mhm.
just throwing them all up on eBay.
Oh, what I just did was like I had a extra Mario Kart 64 that I sold a long time ago. And I just asked the person, "Hey, I have this jacket for Super Mario Kart. Sorry, I can't give you an actual record of it, but would you like this?"
That's
And-
a good way to do it instead of
Yeah.
just throwing it in there and making them have false hope for like.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
One
exactly. It's very rude if you think about it.
I remember when Super Metro or Metroid Trilogy and Donkey Kong Country dropped from Moonshake, and he kept throwing in like empty
The
Castlevania.
Castlevania, yeah. Yep.
Everyone thought they were getting Castlevania.
I don't know what happened to my jacket. I know I like I didn't really care too much about Castlevania, so but like I did something that may be blasphemy now, but I just put a thumbtack on it and like pinned it to the wall. I didn't care enough to frame it, but it was also like it looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Get his ass.
How could you?
hmm I'll throw bits in as penance.
Put it in the jar. I'd like to
I guess
say.
from a
I'd like to make a quick message to Raul Magus. Let us get a W, please. Oh my god. You are relentless.
Is that who's I have not really been paying too
He's
much attention
kicking
to the
our
game.
ass.
I got Aaliyah stuck in my head now from the comments.
All right. Well,
Is that
yeah,
the real
thank
MP or is that someone with a satire screen name?
I think it
you.
is.
I think it is the real NP. Yeah.
Because I fucking love that name.
Well,
So good.
hey Dan, it was nice having you on, talking Grailz with us.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank-
joining us.
thank you. Always a pleasure.
Until the next time. So I got a couple of cool guys.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on with the cool guy thing. If someone would mind explaining it, I don't know.
Someone
It
said
just-
that the admins had the ability to start changing people's names.
Yeah.
Bringing Jim Bob
So
in.
then I just started changing everybody's nickname. At first it was gonna be Douche Canoe, but then I just did Cool Guy.
Thank you for the Batista.
Nice.
Well, it's me. I am Douche Canoe.
What number?
7. No, I'm Cool Guy 7. Hello, I'm James.
Hi James. What do you consider a grail to be? Because we've seen that the definition is totally different. And I don't even know if what I said earlier were necessarily grails or just hard things to find that I was glad to finally get.
I mean, I was originally going to say that, you know, like Tui's a grail. I always wanted Tui. It was on my wish list years ago in that big thread. But I do think the word grail does imply that it's like hard to find and you search
Yeah.
for it because like that's what like a grail is, or a white whale, which it makes a lot of sense.
It pretty interchangeable.
Do you think
Yeah.
the terms are overused?
Yes.
Definitely.
And we'd be crazy to not think the term grills is overused.
I mean, that's
Someone
like
every
the vinyl
every-
jerk community where it's like warm grails burning holes in my record shelves.
I do.
Someone has a shelf full of Grails. It's all fucking Grails. Every single record.
It's true. My King
Zelda 2
Crimson.
is a grail.
God, did someone see that today?
No.
See what?
That they put up like Zelda 2 for Wind Waker or some shit.
Oh, no.
He's like, I got
Oh,
Zelda 2 if you
boy.
want it. If that's what you're into.
Hell yeah.
You
Someone
gotta
should
shoot your
cage
shot.
Cat.
I mean, I don't like to laugh at people, but some people are like, "Oh man, I have my Ozeki copy that I can trade for it."
That's
I don't think that heat's gonna get anyone being like, yeah, you're right, I should get rid of the goop filled Zelda.
this one's got shit in it.
Yeah.
Ugh. Gross.
I don't know what the goop is, so
What do you think the goop is?
wait, no, he already said.
I don't know what it is. I
Rich.
think it's melted down ice blue Nintendo 64 console shells. It's a terrible thing to do. I can't believe they destroyed so many vintage consoles for this.
Is a very high effort explanation for what the goop is.
How could they do this? All right. Well, what's a grail?
So-
What was one of your grails, real quick then?
Yeah, you said Banjo Tooie, but
Oh, right.
what has been more the white whale type definition?
Yeah,
For
it has to fit my definition.
Yes, Frank's definition.
Yeah, the Pico definition or the Frank definition?
Really trying to think of what I had a hard time finding. I'm more of one to just like give up on trying to find anything. I'll be like, I'll ISO it once and I'll put no effort into it. And I'm like, I don't
Fuck
really
this.
feel like it.
Yeah.
Like Star Fox is one that I've wanted forever, but I just never put any amount of effort on even like telling people I'm looking for it. But and don't do that. Just like look for your shit. People find crazy shit all the time. I should definitely do it more.
And people notice whenever you're like, hey, I'm looking for this. Hey, I'm looking for this for months. And they're like, you've been looking for months. I'm going to finally throw you the bone.
One of the biggest grails that I actually got was Pokemon TCG, which I put the most effort in that ISO post of anything, and that I've done really. And it was like 6 months later, I won in a fucking raffle out of the blue that I probably didn't even have like statistically a great chance of even getting picked for. So that was cool. That was exciting. Thanks, Mouse, if you listen to these.
Mouse is the man.
You rule. I need to get to Chicago sometime to get the other half of my prize.
Yeah.
Pico and I are gonna go bowling.
I have like PTSD about bowling, but I'll bowl.
You don't have to
man.
go bowling.
Required bowling.
It's just a quick aside. I have over the past few weeks found out that a bowling alley like about a mile from my house has $6 all you can bowl on Sundays.
Yo.
And that
So
is
you're going.
amazing. Yeah.
Man, maybe I'll go bowling tomorrow. Now I'm in the
You
Number
will.
one bowling podcast.
Yeah.
My number one grail would be Wii Sports bowling soundtrack exclusively. No other
Oh.
parts of Wii Sports.
Just bowling.
Oh,
Jazz Wii bowling.
just entirely bowling.
Hmm.
When
Oh,
was a
no, I'm
kid,
getting
my
an ad
favorite
on the
thing to do,
stream.
Cartoon Network.
Oh, I
Bowling
mean-
League.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm getting.
It's a
Is it
Disney
ad
Plus
time?
ad for me.
Thank you,
I'm
Disney.
getting
We
I'm
are
not
saying what
sponsored
the
by
ad is.
Disney.
I'm not giving them any free advertisement
Damn,
on the
Yeah.
pod.
but our money.
And yeah, I don't think there's many other grails that I've like hunted down over like months.
Yeah.
Trying to think, people.
Pico, you were hunting down Waterworld for a while. Do you consider that
Holy
a grail?
fuck. I don't know why I passed on that shit, but I did. And I was like, whatever, I'll get it later. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start looking for this. And I feel like it started like a waterfall, and like everybody was just fucking looking for Waterworld, and it was so hard to get.
Yeah.
I actually ended up getting it from MP, the real MP,
The
69.
real.
Shout out to my guy.
Sponsors are on vacation. We are now actually sponsored by Papa John's and RVs or whatever. You just saw.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with Waterworld, I imagine, is the same for a lot of people, where I just like opened the game up in a ROM pack, played it for like a minute, and was like, "Oh damn, this music's pretty good."
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was a joke for a long time because of the Simpsons episode where like Bart was at Noiseland Arcade and he put in, or no, Millhouse was, no, it wasn't Millhouse, it was Martin. He put in like $4 worth of quarters into this arcade machine of Waterworld, and it was less like Waterworld, the SNES game, and more like what Space Ace or Dragon's Lair. And it was just like he moved the controller over to the left, and like Kevin Costner walked one step, and it said "Game Over." Insert $4. So I just thought all Waterworld video game stuff was just this dumb joke that I wasn't in on.
Turns out that shit was real, and Waterworld bangs.
That soundtrack. Yeah, anything I would consider a grail at this point would be like, again, Star Fox, or I would really like to hunt down Turok. I really like that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sorry, my computer crapped out for a sec. I don't know what I missed.
Turok.
Jim wants to.
I was and I was regaling everyone with a Simpsons anecdote.
So maybe I'll actually start searching for stuff now. I haven't done it in a while.
Been a minute.
I
Time to
did
start
post the
again.
one ISO for Viva Pinata, and then I read that all the reviews on Discogs are about how fucking horrible it sounds, and I was
no.
like,
Oh, no.
oh, okay, cool, never mind.
Speaking of The Simpsons, if I had a grail that fit Pico's definition, I would say it would be The Simpsons arcade.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that.
That'd be dope.
I would love to do the art for that.
It's a fun ass game. I really wish I'd picked up one of those cabinets when they were on clearance. They were like 30 miles away. And I was like, man,
There was none by me, or I would have.
I don't want to drive that far.
I feel like they're on clearance every week at Walmart. I keep seeing stuff.
Always online.
I just don't have the room for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
that
love
too.
to get one of those cabs just for the hell of it, but
I never know like how nice those cabs are because they
Yeah.
just look like bad, and like I don't know, I've never played one, but
I
to
don't
me,
either.
like they look short and plasticky, and like I could just play an emulator on my TV and
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is ultimately what it comes down to.
I can't dedicate that much space to one game, or I
Mhm.
guess in this case 2 games, because it comes with Simpsons Bowling.
Yeah, and
And
even
we're
if you can
talking about
mod
bowling
it, it's
again.
like,
it's like, yeah, if I wanted to get one of those I would just get like build my own custom
Yeah.
standing cabinet. Yeah,
With name.
yeah.
well, then you could do all sorts of cool shit. You could throw like a Raspberry Pi in there, or even go
Mhm.
For a full Mister setup. The Mister boards in an arcade cabinet are so cool.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
I want every Simpsons game on vinyl.
Yeah.
Someone make a boot label and just do Simpsons.
Just a
Road
Simpsons
Rage.
boot label,
Soon.
I would fucking die. Songs of
Wait.
Springfield on a picture disc of a donut.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that doesn't have like a
Fucking die.
official release. Songs in the Key of Springfield.
They only did the
How hard-
one.
Disney, how
Uh.
hard it would be to get the rights to that shit now.
Oh, true. My whole childhood was like playing bad Simpsons game.
Mhm.
See, I played mostly Road Rage growing up, but then I had like emulators for all the Bart NES
Yeah.
stuff, and those were fucking impossible.
I would always rent like Bart's Nightmare, and then later I rented like Virtual Bart over and over. And my God, those games
Yeah,
actually give me
Real-
nightmares.
they're such nonsense, and they were so difficult.
Virtual Bart is damn impossible. Like Bart's Nightmare, I think after years and years and years, I finally like learned that game. I understand how that game works. Virtual Bart is just not possible.
It's not real.
It's not real.
Virtual Bart can't
It's
hear.
virtual. They should make Virtual Bart for the PlayStation VR 2.
They will. So what's the next Grail on everyone's list, huh? This includes
Oh,
chat.
something.
Only wrote those two examples in my,
I need more.
my notes.
And I have some non-VGM Grails.
Hit us with them. Everyone,
as into the
Jim's
genre.
looking for these.
Oh yeah, totally, guys. But I'm not as into the genres I used to be. But Flamingosis makes future funk music, and he has a fantastic album called Great Hair that is very hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
All of his old albums are like hundreds of dollars and
Oh,
probably
jeez.
won't get repressed because of sampling. But
Alright.
and that's with a lot of stuff. Like a lot of my favorite old like vaporwave albums are just not on streaming, and they probably won't get reissued.
Bright Moments, is that worth a lot?
No, not particularly. That's like the common one.
Oh, damn.
uh, Pleasure Palette's the one with the person playing the Pac-Man machine, and that's like fucking. That's a great album. That's really hard to find. But anyway, lots of cool stuff like that.
There was a big band who does Nintendo covers called Missing No, and they put out an album in like 2015
Oh yeah.
that that was another one like I just kept watching and was like, I'll get this my next paycheck or so on and so forth, and then it sold out and like was impossible to find, and then like only this year like someone put it up on Discogs, like it was like the last time it sold it was $40, and then they threw it up there for 150, and
And it
then
was
like
over.
I saw two other people come out of the woodwork. I guess they saw that price and I was like, oh, it's time to cash out, and then they also listed it for 150, and it just it fucking sucked to see.
Why are you yelling at Biba? Were you yelling at Biba?
I would also love to see. I would really like to find a copy of Conquer, but that's one where I'm more hoping they do an expanded press or like a repress with different art, maybe. But
Yeah, the art's kind of weird on that.
Is Conquerors missing a lot? I that is a game that is out of my
it's a 2 OP, I
scope.
think.
I think it has a pretty good selection.
I don't think it needs much more, but it'd be nice if they
It's
were gonna redo it anyway.
It's actually more complete than the CD version, which is typically not the case.
Oh.
I think a lot of those rare titles just have a ton of music, and like you kind of have to trim it a bit. Even Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie are nowhere near complete. I mean, like those have like what 7-8 hours of music just because of all
the repetitive too, right?
How many?
Yeah,
times?
because a lot of it's like the context-sensitive variations or dynamic variations of the same song. I'm thinking context-sensitive because Conquer.
I will say, like, it gets a little. Tui's better, I think, because Isle of Hags is more varied, but going through Grunty's lair and the Banjo-Kazooie box set like 9 times is a little much.
You need it.
But I love it. I digress. I'm glad it exists anyway.
Right.
NP saying in the chat the Commodore 64 tribute album is one of his Grailz, and Pat is saying that Super Mario Kart took him over a year to find and
Jeez.
adds a lot of enjoyment to the record.
I feel like there's at least a few Commodore 64 tribute albums.
I know which one he's talking about because he's posted the jacket art of it before, but I don't remember the exact name of it.
My Grail was Illusions of Gaia. I was really happy when that shit got put out. So now I guess my new Grail would be Terra Enigma.
Terra Enigma would be so good. Yeah.
Because Soul Blazer, they already came out, so now I need to finish my trilogy.
Wait, Soul Blazer is on vinyl?
Since I'm here, I can mention Kingdom Hearts and how badly I would love to see that pressed, but that's all I can say. I won't go into any more detail.
Wait, Soul Blazer's not on vinyl? What the fuck?
I
am
don't
thinking?
know. I don't know. There are games that just evade me, so I have no idea if that's out there or not.
There's definitely not a Terra Enigma though.
Mm-hmm.
Rare Replay is great. It's probably the best way to play any of those N64 games.
Mhm.
What is it?
Oh, Rare Replays. I was just replying to what NP said.
Oh, what is
Rare,
it?
Rare Replay is a really good compilation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just like pretty much the best versions of those games that have ever been put out, all in one disc.
Can't believe they reset for $30. Good times, good times.
Mm-hmm.
So you get you get by far the best version of Conquer because it's this N64 version, but it's like running on modern hardware, so the frame rate is actually good.
Emulation. It's a game's hard to emulate too. Yeah.
Yeah, and even on the regular hardware, the frame rate takes a huge dip in that game because of the dynamic lighting and everything. Like slows it down like crazy.
Same with Tui. Tui's so hard to play on original hardware.
Well, hey, Jim, thank you for coming on this week.
Thank you for having me.
Bring someone in real quick to take us off. Yeah, thanks.
Big ass haunted Grailz.
Someone.
Thank you.
I can't drag him out.
Goodbye.
I'm embarrassed. I'm very fucking sorry for that. It will happen again, as it has happened countless other times.
Okay. Who?
I'm bringing in Cody because we hear from Cody all the time, and I value Cody's big opinion.
Cody's big opinion.
Cody's big opinion.
Oh no.
All right, Cody. Your
do you
opinion
want?
is the end all be all of what everyone thinks when they think of Grailz from here on out.
Pac-Man
Well-
World Recap.
I've heard arguments from one side, and I've heard arguments from the other side. And, no. I would say, I think a Grail to like reduce it to like the most like plain thing it could possibly be is like a meaningful purchase, something that I feel like, or acquirement, you know, I guess not even necessarily anything that's, it could be gifted, could be whatever,
Yeah.
but it's just some physical thing that, like, you know. Anyway, I guess for example, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the thought of it is just that, oh no, I totally lost it.
Bring it back.
So sorry. Listen, I just think that Grailz is just that chase, and there's always going to be that chase because we're not that like we aren't like we aren't like we're not like going after a literal white whale. We go through multiple because we're real people, so we like more things.
We like to get thing and then make new thing.
Exactly.
We are nothing without our hunt.
Right, and if there's an emotional connection, then that would make it. God, Ashley just came in and tried to prank me again. Sorry.
You got pranked.
I just got pranked live. God, in front of my friends.
Oh, fuck.
Ugh.
Very embarrassing. Wow.
Sorry. So it's just a meaningful object that it took a great lengths, a great means to you. It doesn't even have to be that long. So, for example, I just got the No More Heroes 3 box set because I don't know if anyone, just to catch up anyone listening didn't know that drop for the limited box set that came with a vinyl was a total shit show and just completely shat out. And a ton of people missed out. But
I missed out.
It was impossible. So months later, well, literally like a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I bet I don't really want to pay like a scalper thing, but like I will look and see because I bet maybe there's just some like, I don't know, maybe somebody has it like up maybe like 10, 20 bucks or something. Maybe I got lucky or something. No, I go on there and it's just like a ton. Yeah. There's a ton of those all over eBay, and I managed to get one
of the
for
people
under.
Bought that.
Oh, jeez. That sucks.
So you said you got it for under retail?
Under retail, yeah, because that's how desperate all these flippers were. Because I feel like 75% of the people who bought that set bought it to flip it.
Totally. 100%. And then they realized, oh, this is a very niche market.
Perhaps
and that's,
too niche.
And that's how Cody wins.
I seriously, I'm like, I'm baffled I got that, like, lucky about it. Or at least, you know, or whatever personal emotion it might be. Anyway.
I recently got that set as well, and I went through exactly the same thing.
It's just like utter disbelief that I'm like, and now it's here after all that, like, all that frustration.
It's a nice set too, and it's a nice compilation.
Oh yeah, totally worth it, 100%. I can't believe that box set goes for less than some other company made like the $1 $4 set, which I think is vastly inferior, but somehow sells for more. At least what I saw in, at least comparatively. But
we need the other No More Heroes games now on vinyl.
That's what I'm saying. We need any Grasshopper representation on the. Shut up.
So true. Anyway, so that was just kind of a Grail where it was like, it didn't matter I don't know, like it was, I could have got it for, I was ready to chase that forever, but I got really fortunate and was able to find it.
That's awesome.
Check out eBay, a lot of nice people with good prices.
Yeah, check out eBay. A lot of good folks, kind hearts.
That's the heart of the community for video game vinyl is eBay.
Chances are it's the same listing from a year ago, but that wasn't such a nice price before.
Well, thank you for Cody's big opinion. It's our new segment towards the end of the show.
I was a little on the spot there, but
we value
worked
your
out
big
pretty
opinion.
I feel like a lot of people probably went through that with Floral Shop, Macintosh Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
no one was able to get that from the actual label. So when third-party sellers finally started getting copies of that and people were getting it in, like, they probably must have felt very relieved.
And like go about like monitoring my life like that, where I'd be like, just I would already know about every like possible like outlet that there could be a really rare record, but I need to buy a lot of these right now. I don't know. Not to yuck anyone's yum who's listening who is into it, I guess. Like, well, maybe because you make it harder for me to get stuff I want, so gotta dock you some points there.
Don't buy more than you need.
Yeah.
Cody, take us
Well-
away. If you had one big thing to say to the big Grail hunters from Big Cody, in your big opinion,
Oh,
what would it be?
I guess big ass haunted mansion.
Uh,
Good fucking
Alright.
night,
Thank-
everyone.
Thanks everyone for listening.